And with that, we welcome you to the Davenport Coaches Show, live from Uccello's in Caledonia. I'm Rick Berkey, the head coach. Sparky McEwen are here. You hear the final seconds wind up as the Panthers improved to 4-2 on the season, and most impressively, 4-0 on the road. You win 4 games in a row in a season. That's quite an accomplishment. You've done it 4 for 4 so far, Coach.
4 for 4, and a tremendous amount of bus miles,
Yeah.
pizzas, subs, different hotels. It just tells you a lot about the football team that we have here, and these young men understanding how you have to go on the road and be extremely professional and businesslike and hostile environments. That was up there with last year in regards to how big that win was up in Houghton.
We're going to have one of your stars from your game Saturday. Antjuan Collins will join us a little bit later in the show, but impressive in another way, not only on the road, Coach, but you fell behind 14-7, and for a quarter and a half, you had virtually no offense. And then things turned around. What turned that offense around after a quarter and a half, do you believe?
You know, one of the things that we always talk about is that it's not a game of checkers. You know, it's chess. And it takes time, to figure out what they're doing to you. And I felt like, our defensive staff did a tremendous job of, while we're getting ourselves together on offense, of pretty much picking things up over there for us and giving us a chance to assess what they're doing to us. And I felt like Coach Ruffing and Russell and Coach Hill and, Coach Grieco, they did a tremendous job of assessing what was going on and until our guys could, get that thing going. And, I couldn't be more excited about the big team win, that we had up there, because it was just that. It was a team win. Every facet of the game, from special teams to offense to defense to game management, just a tremendous amount of things went right in order for us to get that win.
In your previous 3 road wins and the final possessions there, it was the defense that stepped up, got the stops, and secured the win. This time, it was the other way around. The offense had the ball at the end, and as we heard in the highlights, you got some good key runs on third down. Your offensive line paved the way. Michael Horo put in at quarterback just for those third down running events, both successful, and you ran out the clock.
We did. It's, once again, the both of us have talked about this, that we've shown the ability to do some really positive things in different phases of the game. We've now shown the ability, against Central Missouri, to be quick strike and be efficient there. We've shown the ability to go out now against a really good Michigan Tech football team, and you guys will see as this season continues to unfold on how successful they'll continue to be. But to ground the ball out and hold the ball when they made a decision to kick it to us, for the offense to step up big there says a lot about what they're made of. And then defensively, our defense has just shown up. If you focus and you really, do a deep dive into Davenport football, we're a defensive-based squad. Everything we do, it's going to be because of what, our defense does there. And I can't say enough about, Coach Mack and Walker and, Rusty and Coach B, Bart. These guys, they really put in a lot of time, and they know our players and what they're capable of, and it just shows up, in the box score week in and week out with the statistics.
Going to come down to Collins. Antjuan Collins will take it right at the 3-yard line, to the 5-10, to the 15, to the outside. Got a seam to the 25-30. Antjuan Collins, 40, 45, 50. Antjuan Collins to the sideline. 45, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Davenport! Antjuan Collins from 97 yards out, and the Panthers strike back in a heartbeat. Technically, it was 96 yards when all said and done. Either way, it's a school record. No one's ever run a kick return back for that distance for a Davenport uniform before, and our first kick return for a touchdown in 8 years. So Antjuan Collins joins us right now. Antjuan, I've been talking with my color man at the games earlier this year. It seems like so many times you were just like one ankle away from busting one this year.
Yeah.
So what happened on that final one?
So basically on that final one, all week, Coach Walk, he said, we have to be special on special teams, and that's exactly what we did on Saturday. We had a great scheme drawn up. We watched countless, hours of film, even meeting on Google Meets, but that happened, and as soon as they scored, I told the kick return unit, let's just take one back to the crib, Let's just do that, and that's what we did. I had an amazing block by one of my brothers named Ethan Sutton. He definitely opened that hole up for me. I'm just glad that I got the opportunity to do that. Shout out to all my brothers on the kick return team.
And Jetpack, I hope you like the nickname. It's because it's going to stick now. But
yeah, I like that.
But you weren't done. You caught a pass over the middle from Antjuan and took it to the sideline, and you were gone. What point of that game? Tell me that play. Tell me about that play. How that all developed.
Basically, same thing. We had a great play. Dialed up, and me and Dwan, we made our eye contact. After I seen the ball, released from his hands, I knew it was time to make a play. So made that play, and after that, it was just a foot race to the end zone.
You got some starts last year, but you got nicked up a little bit in the middle of the season last season, and but you've clearly taken a step forward this year, Antjuan.
Yes,
what do you think was most important part for you to make that next step up?
I would just say mindset. I just had to change my mindset about the trials, tribulations, all the adversity. That comes with life. That comes with the game. Coach Sparky says it the best. You respect the game, and the game will respect you back. So I just had to stay in the treatment room, keep staying healthy, and all that, just so all my abilities could show on the field and help my team win.
You're a North Carolina kid.
Yes, sir.
You went to Rocky River High School in Capitol Heights, Maryland. But North Carolina, not too far from there. Tell us about your high school days under Coach Orlando Gray. What Coach Gray taught you as a player and as a person, perhaps.
Yeah, as a player, he always told me respect and do everything to the best of your ability. He definitely molded me as the player I am today, as the man I am today, and I definitely am appreciative of that. On the field, he definitely poured in confidence to me, always pulled me to the side if I was having a tough game, and just always spoke, words of encouragement to me, and I always remember that.
Besides Coach Gray, was there another person maybe in your life that was really instrumental in you developing as a person and as a player?
Yeah. I had my receiver coach, Coach Washington. He also did the same. He was more of a big brother, / mentor to me. We still talk, text, to this day. He always checks up on me, and, I always appreciate that.
You started out collegiately in the Carolina area at Winston-Salem. You were there for a couple years. Tell us how you learned about Davenport, how you were first contacted, and how you eventually decided to come up here.
Yeah. So out the transfer portal, honestly, I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't really have a lot of connections. I was praying to God every day. I'm very, big on faith, big on religion. And so I got this one call from my receiver coach, Coach Hill. He's telling me about the school, telling me how, the coach would like to have me up there. And, I genuinely felt like this was the place for me to be.
When you take a look at the film, it shows you immediately that he's already putting his stamp of approval on this football team. And, we're on the schedule that they played thus far, okay? Number one, it's the toughest schedule in the country. We're the second worst football team on their schedule. He's played conference champions, teams that's been in second place. And between us and Michigan Tech, everyone's been better than both our teams. And they play those teams extremely tough. They play Tech tough. They just played against the, two-time back-to-back, national champions and the powerhouse.
Fair State.
Yeah, they played them tough. And I saw Tony's post game, and I know Tony, and I could just tell by his interview that that team that Tyrone has there, he's doing some good things with them, and the future's bright, and they're going to come up to the farm, and it's just going to be a GLIAC battle. It's going to be a GLIAC battle, and my guys know, based on how we went to work on Tuesday, where my thoughts are on this, and nothing but a lot of respect for the team that he's putting together and the talent that he has there and scheme. They're different now. They're different from last year, so this is going to be a much different team than last year.
Coach Tyrone Wheatley's squad, you mentioned the strength of schedule. Their record against the opponent's record they played so far are 20-10 so far this year. That shows that as well. Coach, you mentioned a different scheme. What are they doing? Are they running more? Are they passing more? What are they doing different than schematically and maybe on defensive side also?
Well, they're trying to stabilize, things on both offense and defense. They've had a number of moving parts. And, the biggest thing for me is, I don't care what scheme you run, but they've upgraded their athletes. Okay, they've got guys, on the front end, the back end that can really run. And then all of a sudden you throw in a scheme that suits their athleticism. It's one that a lot of similarities to who we are, to be honest with you. So we have no doubt. We have no doubt in our mind that this is going to be another classic war, definitely so. And they're getting better. And, sometimes when you look at a team's record that way, you can kind of see a drop-off in some of their effort. Man, the Bulldogs went over there and they gave the Bulldogs everything they wanted. I know the game was played in 2 days, but that says even that much more about Wayne State. They could have, tanked it and not played well the second day, but they did. They played tough, and obviously the resiliency of the Bulldogs and being the championship pedigree got them through it. But now it just showed me a lot about what type of beast is getting ready to come in here to farm.
Quarterback Champ Edwards, a legitimate dual threat quarterback for the Warriors.
Yeah, he is. He's similar to DeJuan a little bit in regards to the type of athleticism that he has and in regards to his speed. And the nice thing is he's got some bigger body receivers on the perimeter. Like I said, and then they got a couple of big backs as well. They're built a lot like us. It's almost a mirror image to us, So, and then on the defensive side of the football, once again, a lot of similarities, athletic, secondary, linebackers right now is the anchor, to that football team and some of the things that they're doing. So this is going to be one of those games, man. It's going to come down to discipline. It's going to come down to least amount of turnovers and just flat out executing under some pressure.
So again, it's a 2 o'clock start, a little bit of change in routine. Does that change much for what you do game day with that 2 o'clock stagger?
Well, I mean, what's routine to us this year?
Well said.
I'm so happy just to be home. They could start this game at 4 o'clock p.m. We're just happy to be home because it's been a long time, on this road.